Hello and welcome to this tutorial for adding and subtracting fractions. It really is pretty simple as long as you remember the following. Not to confuse it with finding an equivalence. For finding an equivalence, you multiply both the top and the bottom numbers, the numerator and the denominator, by the same factor. So that's 1 over 2 becomes 2 over 4. You've got to multiply both the top and the bottom numbers. That's when we do addition or subtraction or multiplication and division with fractions, you only affect the numerator, the top number. Let's show you how it works. Just to emphasize the point, you only change the numerator whenever you're adding, subtracting, multiplying or dividing. You just focus on the numerator to add your fractions together. So 1/5 add 2/5 is as straightforward as making 3/5. 1 add 2 is 3. And the denominator stays the same. 4/5 add 4/5 is 8/5. And if you are able to, you can convert this to a mixed number, which would be 1 and 3/5. Subtraction works in exactly the same way. You just subtract the numerator from one of the fractions to the other. So 13/8 subtract 4/8 would leave you with 9/8. And again, you'd be able to convert that to 1 and 1/8 for the mixed number. Starting with a mixed number can be a little trickier because you've got to think about what the one whole is, which would be 3/3 add 2/3, which would be 5/3. And if you've got that down, you need only work out that 5/3 subtract the 4/3 leaves you with 1/3. If you have two mixed numbers, such as 2 and 7/8, subtract 1 and 3/8, I'd suggest that you'd sort out the units first, the whole numbers. So 2 subtract 1 is 1, and then 7/8 subtract 3/8 would be 6, 5, 4, 4/8, or 1 and a half. Go and pause this video now and have a go at answering these questions, and have the answers in improper fractions or proper fractions, not mixed numbers. Away you go. Here are your answers. For this side, it's fairly self-explanatory. Just make sure that you've answered with improper fractions. We'll explain E, F, G, and H really quickly. 7/4 take away a whole 1. If you think that 1 equals 4 over 4, then it's 7 quarters subtract 4 quarters, which would leave you with the 3 quarters as your answer. Then for 10/8 subtract 1 and 1/8. 1 and 1/8 is the same as 9/8. So if you take 10/8 and subtract 9/8 from it, you'll be left with the 1/8. For 2 and 6/7, subtract 1 and 2/7. If you take the 1 from the 2, you'll be left with 1. And then 6/7, if you subtract 2/7 from it, you'll be left with 4/7. And then if you convert the 1 and 4/7, it's 7 add 4 would give you 11. So you've got your 11/7 right there. And finally, this is the tricky one. H was 3 add 1, subtract 8/7. So 3 add 1 is 4. 4 is equivalent, if you've got your 7 times tables, to 28/7. Then it tells you to take away 8/7. If you do that, you'll be left with 20/7. It's a fairly simple concept, but it gets tricky very quickly. And if you've got all of those questions right, well done indeed. If not, have another go at them and try and get the right answer this time. Well done.